Hello everybody, welcome to this first introductory episode of Apex Predators. I'm just going to quickly go over what this show is going to be about in the future. So, in case you don't know, my name is Dylan Blight and I'm from the Explosion Network, where we cover lots of video games, movies, TV and pop culture stuff. But in this particular product, we're going to be talking about Apex Legends and or Titanfall, especially if Titanfall 3 gets announced. I am a new Titanfall fan. I only recently played the game. However, I've really got into Apex Legends over the last year, primarily the most, although I played it at launch, then kind of dropped off in Season 2. Over the last year, the six months to a year, I've started really getting invested a lot more into the lore, to the point I would like to be able to talk about that, discuss the lore a lot more, want to be able to discuss what's happening season by season. So primarily what this show is going to be talking about is the major events happening, if I'm enjoying them, if I'm enjoying the current events that are happening, or if they're bad, like they had the Shield one most recently, which led me to believe that Evo Shield should not be a thing that are always in the game, because it just turned everyone into being hot snipers so they could build up to the red Evo form, and I thought that was bad. So we can discuss things like that here. We can discuss things like Loba's reveal, her background. We could have spent time, if I had the show going before then, I'm sure I would have been on here theorizing about, is Loba going to be the next champion revealed? Is she the little girl from the Revenant trailer? Blah, 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 blah. We can talk about the trailers when they come out and these sorts of things, and sometimes I'll have guests on here. Sometimes I won't have guests on here. Either way, we're going to have a lot of fun talking about Apex Legends, and we're here to discuss the game as a whole, not from a competitive level, although at times I may want to talk about more competitive gameplay elements. That is not what this show is going to be about. This is for people who just want to hear someone talk about Apex as love for the game in general, from gameplay to story to lore to what's happening behind the scenes at Respawn or EA or what have you. This is an overall just going to be a great time to chat about Apex, which is a game that I love, and if you're listening, presumably love it or are falling in love with it as well. This is not going to be, here are your tips and tricks to become a pro. I am in no way at a stage where I could tell you tips and tricks to become a pro. I would consider myself decent at the game. I'm not terrible at the game, I don't feel, but this is not going to be me pretending to tell you how to get better when I would need to be listening to people tell me how to get better. So that's not what that is, and I'm sure there's platforms that could fill that for you. This is just going to be lovely little Apex podcasts. So I look forward to future episodes that'll be dropping on podcast feeds, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Just search for it. And then, of course, it'll be dropping on the YouTubes as well, where as of this stage, the plan is to just stick some gameplay underneath, relevant gameplay if possible, and you're just going to be able to watch that while listening to me and whoever else happens to be on, if anyone else is on, talking about Apex. And this is going to be a sort of fun, different project for us at the Explosion Network, considering most of our stuff is, I wouldn't say not scripted, but a lot more structured, and definitely more your typical podcast / video formatty type stuff. This is just going to be a little bit different. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope you look forward to it. Please subscribe on either the YouTubes, youtube.com/Explosion Network. Subscribe on the podcast service that you're listening to this on, if that's the way you're listening to it. And for more of our great shows, head on over to explosionnetwork.com, where of course you can find Arcade Couch, our general video game podcast, Platinum Explosion, our PlayStation podcast, as well as reviews, news, and all sorts of things about video games. It's a great website. You should check it out.